Beard Culture. I cut my way out podcast. Tune us in. We on the grind like I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. Yeah, I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. I used to dream as a kid on the porch of the crib and make it big and one day endorse where I live.
All right. Back again.
What's good?
Oh, man. Feels good to be back on recording live with my brother. This is the I Cut My Way Out podcast.
Yes, sir.
As you can see, we for the YouTube audience, we got a new set rather.
Right. The headquarters.
The new headquarters.
Right.
Yes, sir. It's the I Cut My Way Out podcast. I'm at Kenneth Jinx 1 on the IG, at Ken Jinx on Facebook, at Kenneth Jinx on Twitter. I'm joined by my brother, gracious host, shop owner now. Go ahead and give him the addies.
All right. Ashra Knox on Facebook. A_Knox the Barber 4 on Instagram. Beard_culture 4 on Instagram as well. And then of course our joint venture, I_cut my way out pod. I cut my way out _pod.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right, so sorry for the viewers, but those are contacts where everyone can get in touch with us if they need to, and follow us, subscribe, share, listen, give feedback, all that good stuff. So happy and excited to be back. Another week. Had the week off last week due to Father's Day.
Happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers.
Hope you all had a great Father's Day for those that are playing the part.
Absolutely.
So what's good this week, man?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm just glad that we back to record. It always, to me, as a somebody that creates content, that likes to create the content, I mean, I'm just happy that we can get in here and just shoot the shit and just build.
Yeah, right. Have a good time and do what we like to do best. One of our favorite pastime. We like to talk, and so this is our opportunity, our platform. And so, excited to be back, man. We had that time off, so it felt good a couple of weeks ago when we got back in. So, back at it. So, feels good to be back in.
And it was just one of those things to, my Father's Day was kind of, chill, but it was special.
Right,
I like to give a shout out to my family, my two sons, my wife. They made it special, and they didn't go just overboard, and it wasn't extravagant, but they really did some very small things that really meant a lot to me. So
it's always the little things that mean the most.
Yeah,
we had a good time. Wife cooked an incredible dinner. Went, had breakfast. Got to chill with, few of the kids, grandkids. Seen a couple of grandkids. So it's always a good time anytime you can spend with family. So
and just one thing, I thought I was gonna be barbecuing. I started, the grill, got the coals going, and my wife just said, I got it. So it was some rib tips, some boneless chicken. The wings. It's a shortage on wings, so we just had some boneless chicken thighs and breasts with some rib tips.
Who would ever thought there was a shortage on wings? Right. Got Rick Ross selling thighs.
Right.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, so honestly, man, we just finished the food up yesterday.
Okay.
We've been just eating leftovers and just letting the boys get in there and heat something up if they're hungry. So, that was definitely special. Just sat back and just kind of assisted instead of being over the grill. So I give my wife credit, man. She made it special again. So
that's what's up.
Man, I hate to have the dismal report, but we're just living in those times, man. We're gonna dedicate this episode. We are in Champaign, Illinois, and it's a small community. Big town, small city is I think something that I'm gonna adapt. To describing the town, but one of our young Thundercats, and I hate to use that term Thundercat, but he was a youngster. Was taken from us.
Definitely a Thundercat on the ball court.
Right,
So,
former ball player and just Champaign through and through. Just one of the youngsters that I would say kind of allowed the community to help raise him.
Yeah, he was impactful for those that kind of know the story. Played. At Central High School, Champaign, Illinois, was started on the varsity team as a sophomore. Played major minutes. Produced, was a heck of a ball player. Played his junior year there. Started as well. Then, unfortunately, his senior year was cut. Don't know all the circumstances. Still don't agree as a coach and somebody that's coached kids and understands that. There are a lot of variables when it comes to kids and what kind of impact that can have. But overall, what I knew, didn't know him, but knew his brother, employed his brother, ran a program, and knew his brother, quite well, coached against his brother. So just want to give my shout out and my condolences to the family and rest in heaven. Bailey D is extremely unfortunate. Man, we're at a time when we're losing, our youth at an alarming rate, man. And it just, everyone that hits, man, it just hits you in the chest and it gets no easier. Not becoming immune to it, it just hurts, man, especially when you have children in that age range too and just can't even fathom the thought of losing your children. So just hate to even have to think about what the family is going through. It was, big to the community. The community got behind him when he was cut, stood behind him, and he impacted in the short 20 years of his life. He impacted the town. So
and I didn't realize how young he was.
Right.
I thought he was. Maybe 22, but he was just 20. And
you think about it, it was just a couple years ago.
Literally. Yeah, literally. So one thing I do want to share is, when that happened, a lot of people, went to work and really was able to salvage a senior season for him. He went to prep school and just want to... want to give a shout out to Verdell Jones and Kevin Cobb for, really going to work for the young man. So he did have a senior season to play. But the thing that I want to talk about when I talk about his character is I saw him at a game, Danville game in particular at Central, very high competitive game.
During that senior year?
Yeah, during the senior year before he, I think, because prep schools have these breaks and things like that. And I think that game was kind of before Christmas of that year. And he was cheering on the guys, He was there cheering on his team. And I wouldn't have done that. I probably wouldn't even went to the game. I probably wouldn't even step foot in the gym. So
says a lot about the character.
Yeah, so just a lot about his character and just...
But I think... And not to cut you off, these type of circumstances and instances are unfortunate, but it lets us know that sports are very, 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 very small piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, small.
You know, I don't want to remember him as a basketball player. I want to remember him as a young man who was taken from us, you know, way too early. And, you know, I know, you know, God has his plans, but oftentimes when these type of things happen, you know, you always have to wonder why. You know, it didn't happen in the community. He was unfortunately out of town in Atlanta, Georgia, so we don't know all the ins and outs to it. Was it mistaken identity? You know, you just feel and you have a lot of questions. But what it says is that life is short, and we need to, you know, make sure that we love our people, you know what I'm saying, with everything that we have in us, and make sure that our people that we love know that we love them while they're here, because, you know, you wake up, you know, one day and everything is good, and the next day everything is turned upside down, man, and it's just you know, the weird aspect of life is just how, you know, just how life works. And so, you know, we just have to be thankful for every minute that we have with our loved ones, and just breathing, and, you know, take it as an honor and a privilege to be here, because everybody doesn't get that same opportunity. So
yeah, I got a question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
With everything that goes on, and then when you think about your role as a husband, a father, now a grandfather, a son, do you think about your mortality?
Often.
I do too.
Often. And it's crazy for me because I haven't come to grips with death. Having the situation with Miel, right, was the first time that somebody really, really, really close to me passed. And unfortunately, it's changed the trajectory of my life and just how I view my everyday. I think now, though, I often think about it in terms of when you're not here, you know, there's not much you can do, but how it affects the people that you leave behind, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so for me, I think that's the biggest thing. So that's something, unfortunately, that I think about on a daily basis, probably a lot more than I should. I don't know if that's normal, abnormal, but yeah, man, it's pretty deep thought, man.
Well, yeah, I asked that because I thought about well, I'm not sure if this podcast knows, but I've been in therapy since 2018.
Okay.
You know, I probably go twice a month, you know, pretty much
Right.
since 2018.
Right.
And I asked my therapist, you know, was that something that was normal? And she said, yeah, especially when you know, keep living and
Right.
and you find your purpose,
Right.
and you think you found your purpose,
Right.
and you know, you feel like, you know, people depend on you, and
Right.
and so then you start really getting to the point to where you know, there's a, you know, when you see people, when people, you know, aren't here,
Mm-hmm.
it's very normal, it's very significant,
Right.
because you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do in not only your life and other people's
Right.
lives. So it's just something that, you know, according to her, is very normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
And
normal.
just the reality, we lost another young man that knew since he was a kid, Montez Jones.
Yeah, we'll dedicate the show
so-
to him as well,
right.
man.
Rest in peace to Frog, man. So it's, you know, and I know this is a barber podcast, but sometimes, you know, you just have to intertwine things that affect our communities, and this is happening everywhere. And
Everywhere.
got a client, my wife's cousin, DeMario Turner. He posted something yesterday. Said, man, for those who, are looking to, get out of town, talk about, I'm leaving because of the gun violence. It's a pandemic, and it's happening everywhere, man. Epidemic, and so, young black boys are losing their lives at alarming rates, not only to the police, but more often to the hands of somebody that looks like them, man. And it's just, again, when you have, kids and, look just like these young boys that are losing their lives, and these young boys, it just, it hits your heart. And the sad part, I think, you don't know when, you don't know where, and you don't know how, but everybody's demise is a must.
Yeah.
And that's I think the toughest part for me to really comes to grips with, that no matter how you do it, how big you do it, how much fun you had, everything that we're doing now, all this shit is temporary. That's the most difficult part for me, you know what I mean? But on the flip side, I'm also learning that, man, you have to live your life to the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a short life, so much to do, and nobody deserves to be unhappy. And that's the biggest aspect of this whole podcast, is doing it your way, grabbing the bull by the horns and living your life and creating your own happiness. Because oftentimes, the average person gets up and goes to work, and somebody else dictates their day and
absolutely,
how things go. And man, I just don't think that's how life should be lived. I really don't.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say, man, like it with things like this, it just really it hits our community in ways that probably it doesn't in big cities, just because it's just so much else going on that when something like this happens, it's just hard for us to not come in here, especially being a barber podcast. I mean, it's just barbershop talk, when you lose somebody.
Yeah.
And
we had these conversations, was in here cutting yesterday, and my son, 8 o'clock in the morning, he keeps seeing posts and can't figure out, who, what. And then maybe about an hour and a half later, he walks down to my chair, brings me the picture, and here it is. It's Bailey, and so it was the talk of the entire day in the barbershop.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, man, just it's just inevitable. I mean, I couldn't just, I didn't know what else to, the thing about doing a podcast and putting it on YouTube, putting it on a platform. I fathom our content will be up for thousands of years. Right. You know what I'm saying? And just thinking about, like I tell my children, it's just like, I have fun doing these. It's important for me to do these because, your great grandchildren may be able to log on and listen to their great grandfather, that they may not, because me personally, like, I've never met my paternal grandfather. My kids have not met their paternal grandfather. So
yeah, that's pretty deep.
They don't have
just being able to go and tap in.
And
the voice.
We don't have very many pictures, so it's I commend my wife for really just taking pictures and just having it. So that's another purpose for even just doing this show and doing the podcast and some of the other shows I've done and they still up. So so I mean it's just the purpose and all. Bailey got Huddle and YouTube footage that's gonna live forever. So Yeah, man. So I just, yeah, we just, I don't even know how to segue, but I just think we need to, man, because it's just difficult to really just take in and not knowing
Right.
all the answers and details. So,
Right. And then you see so many different things, and we'll segue, but one thing I seen on the news, man, and you know, no disrespect to anybody, but it was really disturbing because there were two kind of peace events yesterday, and they were in separate places, and we're in a small community.
yeah,
It's almost like we, you know, not to say people aren't genuine, but we're in too small of a community not to figure out how to come together. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah,
you see it in all aspects. You see it with the barbershops. You see it in the churches. You see it in every aspect in our community, in a lot of African American communities. But I can talk more so about the community that I live in. You know, everybody judges. You know, I've had my feet, my as Mo P would say, I've put my steel toe boots and my hard hat on. I worked in a school district and with kids for 20 years. You know what I mean? And I don't have to stunt, I don't have to front, I don't have to be out front. But we just need to do a better job of figuring out, you know, how to give back, coming together. You know, I challenge even the barbershops for us to come together, you know, and find ways to give back
yeah,
to the
like
community.
perfect opportunity
you know,
when schools start back
you know,
up. Like, yeah, let's do this. You know,
because you know, me and the wife, my dad, you know, just the family in general, you know, with the artwork and stuff, and we just actually we'll start a raffle tomorrow where we'll raffle one of the art pieces, 16 by 20 framed, beer culture, you know, logo T-shirt, and doing a $40 raffle. And come August, right before school starts, we'll do a giveaway school supplies for the elementary age.
nice.
And so I just felt indebted that once we got the ball rolling, that it's more about just receiving money, but finding ways to give back. My mother was a single parent as well, and so we just gotta, you know, the more the merrier, man. Everybody, we're in a town where there's more than enough space and opportunity for everybody to eat, you know. So I'm just throwing it out there, doing my part. It's on my heart for, you know, all the other barbers, whether it be, you know, Cloyd with his barbershop, shout out to him. Carlos, you know, in the midst of getting ready to do his thing with the barber school, all-star cuts. You know, Marshawn with what he's doing. Just, you know, the barbershop in the mall, the Champagne and Urbana Lounge. Just barbers, you know, just doing our part because we're impactful. You know, somebody had a relationship as a barber with Bailey.
Yeah.
I don't know who cut his hair, but somebody had a relationship with him, and we have a responsibility because we're pillars. You know, everybody comes through our chairs, whether it's my chair, whether it's Cloyd's, whether it's what's the barber super cold with the Clippers Q. You know, man, somebody is coming. He went to somebody, and that's a void that they will never be able to fill, and it's not even money.
Right.
It's the fact that this man sat in your chair and probably, you know, expressed things to you that he didn't express to everybody. So, you know, we have a responsibility trying to come together, man, and do our part because we're watching this community. We're eating off the community. So we have a responsibility to some way, somehow, you know, do our part to give back to the community. I'm not expecting everybody to be the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther King, but anything that we can do, you know, even behind the scenes, it's extremely important, man. And that just was just on my heart, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
You know?
I mean, hand claps to that. So I think it's a perfect time to segue. So what, week 4? About almost 3 weeks or 4 weeks?
We just completed the 4th week.
4 weeks.
Just completed the 4th week.
And you know, we I mean, my posture is horrible, but you know, I'm lounging in a barber chair. You know, we turned it around this episode. I had the shot set up so you would be able to see some of the artwork with the mirrors, but I adjusted it, so I apologize. So we'll get some of that
Maybe
in the
at
future.
the end, just pan.
Yeah, I get up and pan and just let you all see how beautiful the shop is with the artwork.
Appreciate
and
it, man.
so 4th week. I mean, just
completion of the 4th week, man. It's been a dream come true. I'm still pinching myself because, you know, we 2 barbers, myself, my son, but things are going extremely well, better than I anticipated.
Nice.
To be honest, you know, I have my you know, client base, but it's continuing to extend. I'm finding myself overwhelmed. You know, any barbers out there, licensed barbers, man, you know, locticians looking to be in a great space with the ability to grow. There's a lot more traffic in this mall than I gave it credit for being, man. We're getting a lot of walk-ins, a lot of diversity. We're making a lot of connections. You know, the merch is starting to fly off the shelf. You know, interest in the artwork, you know, people plan on coming back. You know, sold a piece yesterday to a gentleman that works in the mall. So, man, it's on the up and up, man. It's on the up and up. This is something that I think, you know, with the right people on the team, this can become bigger than I ever imagined. So
nice.
Yeah, you know, walking away from that situation a couple years ago, didn't know what God had in store, but God is an amazing God, bro. I mean, this is, like I said, still pinching myself, man, trying to, you know, enjoying getting up, coming every day, doing it my way, you know, but don't get it twisted, because those years of being in that structured environment and following their rules prepared me to make sure that, you know, my structure and professionalism and customer service was what it needed to be able to service all walks of life, man. So yeah.
Man, yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those things to, like, I just kind of feel like, man, if I'm like in the vicinity to just stop by. I mean, I've been vaxxed, so you know, just to come by,
Coach
hang
T even
out.
came back again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shout out Coach T. I caught him when he came in.
Had you know, Terry Smith, Tata came in here, man. He sat in here literally for about 6 hours on Friday.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Just chopping it up while I'm cutting, having a good time. So it's starting to, you know, I think we can make this a staple, man. You know what I mean? Making everybody comfortable, you know, enjoying the barbershop lifestyle, but also keeping it professional. You know, we had, it was about 5 of us in here yesterday. I was cutting, we talking sports, and we had a couple of, you know, people in the mall, you know, white people just walked in comfortable, looked at the art, was just amazed by the pieces, and we're extremely comfortable, man. So I'm proud of what we're doing, and we're going to keep grinding and going to keep building, man. So proud of my son, man. He I think he's turning the corner. I'm steady in his ear. You know, we're going to debate, argue, you know, a couple of times a week, but he's turning the corner. I think we're on to something special, man.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my buddies who came in, walked in, that he took care of yesterday, and you know, I kind of was just sharing some things with him about, you know, your son, and he was like, I think he soaks up the game. He, you know, he called me. It's like, I think he soaks it up. He may not, you know, he may not act on it like you don't think he does, but even when we was talking, you know, and this is him saying it, even when we was talking about what we was talking, I kind of sensed he was soaking it up, you know. So
good conversation, funny dude. He's adjusting, and you know, man, just the thought of being able to, you know, provide, you know, your son, your family with opportunities to eat, and your family providing you with opportunities to eat. I mean, really a dream come true.
Right. Yeah.
Really a dream come true.
Yeah, I think, you know, as fathers, you know, I think that's what we lack.
Yeah.
And I think that's what leads to some of the riffraff. I mean, people with opportunity don't partake in some of the things that, you know, unfortunately we led this episode off with. You know, people with opportunity, you know, just aren't in that, you know, and I'm gonna stop myself because I don't want, you know, anything to be taken out of context when I say that. But I just, you know, when you have opportunity, when you wake up and know, like, I got something to go get as far as, you know, providing and making my life better and making my future better.
And still honoring the people that you service. One of the things, you know, I've always questioned, I told you we had one of the episodes that we did, we talked about how much is a haircut worth, right? And I talked about when, you know, me and Los going to Bronner Brothers for the first time, and Yusuf, you know, shout out to Los and Yusuf, talking about knowing your worth and charging your worth and what is possible in a small community. And so added a service and shout out to one of my clients, Lance. I just called it the works. He like, look, man, everybody, you know, calls something the works. He was like, this is, you know, your situation, beard culture, you have it trademarked. He, you know, call it the beard culture experience. So adding facial steams, you know, facial massages, enhancements, haircuts, you know, and being able to charge premium prices and not having one individual, you know, bark about the price. You know, I've gotten more for single haircuts in the last 2 weeks than I've gotten the 20 years that I've been cutting. You know what I mean? So, so giving that service, caring about the client. You know, I've been in the chair, put them to sleep. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, just can't be more happy, man. You know, with this part, you know. So,
man, yeah, man. Speaking of the playoffs, I know I was in here talking crazy shit, you know, and I think I was half right. But then last night I became half wrong.
Okay, I didn't even watch the game last night.
Well, not really. I wasn't half wrong, but my argument was Chris Paul coming back helps the Clippers, and
it kind of went two ways because Payne got hurt.
Right. So
you know.
I know Chris Paul probably didn't expect to log heavy minutes.
Right.
So it just happened that way. But then last night, you know, when you're dealing with playoffs and Clippers having 2 7-game series, and then this is a game 4, I mean, Paul George shot like shit. Reggie Jackson shot like shit. So
no Kawhi.
I mean, you had, I think the game was in the 80s.
Because, I was looking. I watched a tremendous boxing match last night.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's one of the, you know, coming from an era where, you know, having, you know, parents and family that were big into boxing, you know, Haglers, Durans, and
right, those
Hitman Hearn, Sugar Ray,
them 120 to 150 that really had knockout power,
man.
Unlike Floyd,
man, Davis, you know, he's a tactician, and I respect what he does, but that man, that Davis boy,
when you talk
looked
about,
like he had steel in his glove, and man, Barrios, man, he takes a hell of a punch. He got up, you know, man, he gave it everything that he had, man. That was a hell of a fight.
My timeline told me that my man Davis, I forget his nickname. It's a cold nickname. But on the scorecard, he was probably losing.
No, but actually they went to the official and he wasn't losing.
Oh, okay.
On the unofficial, they had him down, but the official, he was actually winning.
Okay.
Even before he had the barrage of the 2 knockdowns in one round, they still on the official had him up. But Barrios did a good job. Was not scared, man. That dude took some thunder, man. You can't hit me like that, man. Nah.
But I seen the highlight. Was the ref justified on stopping it?
Hell yeah, he was.
Okay,
Man, you look at that body shot. He had already been knocked down like 2 or 3 times, man. When he hit him with that body shot, he stopped like it hurt his heart.
Yeah,
man.
That.
It was justified. Dude didn't argue.
Yeah.
He gave him his props, after. In Atlanta, it was a great atmosphere, man. Man, dude, that was a hell of a fight. Yeah. That was a really good fight. So, being that it was that good of a fight, I didn't watch the playoff.
You didn't miss shit. You didn't miss shit.
You know what I mean?
You didn't miss nothing at all.
I seen they were making a run back. They closed it to within 7, the Clippers.
Yeah, you didn't miss nothing. You didn't miss nothing.
But I'm extremely happy for Phoenix right now. Mom and Step Pop's out there.
How
man.
Have you talked to them about how it is with them? Or
man, they out there. They're
no, I'm saying that's a 2-part question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can talk about how they're doing and because I know they listen. So we definitely want to give us an update on how they're doing. But with Phoenix's success,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
they out there rooting. They're rooting. Stepdad, Pops, he watching. Every time I talk to my mom, he in the background, asking if I'm, watching it or if I've watched it. He spent a lot of time, getting around the city and learning his way around the city. They've been there 6.5 years now. So, it's big for it. Chris Paul done came out there, man. So it's big for him. So they're definitely rooting. They get together with my uncle and my aunt and, so they're rooting for him, man.
I'm not gonna make no promises. I'm not gonna make no promises. But I guarantee if they're interested, I'll make a call. So I do have a friend that used to play in the NBA. He's now, works in the front office for a franchise. So when that team visits Phoenix, I'll see if, let me know. I'll make the call and see if, they'd be interested.
I may even be out there visiting at the time. But, yeah, my uncle, my Uncle Tyke's out there. His wife is a buff. My mom not too much of a sports buff from the standpoint of going and being around all those people.
Understood.
My stepdad definitely. He'll definitely go. Me and him, rock. My Uncle Tyke will rock my every day. My mom don't want to be around all them people.
So that's good, Mama, because that means I won't have to ask for. It won't be as many tickets I need to ask for.
But she'll definitely, y'all go out there and have a good time. But yeah, they're rooting and man, extremely happy, man, because it does, something for a city. And, the Phoenix, the East Valley area is very vibrant. It's continuing to grow. It's a beautiful place, man. So it's man.
You know what my bucket list in life is?
What's that?
And I don't want to offend nobody, but my bucket list in life is to move to a city that has an NBA team and have season tickets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where
absolutely.
It's just like
it's just a big difference.
Yeah,
man.
like after work, just we got tickets. If we want to go, we'll go. If not, here's some tickets for you. Tuesday, Wednesday. It ain't even a weekend. It's the Tuesday to Wednesday night.
So many people, man, get in that feelings, but you don't want to be in Champaign. Leave. Anybody has to be honest and say that for most people, for the masses, when you're in a smaller community, you have less opportunities on a lot of different scales, right? And so that's just one of the beautiful pluses to being in a city if you're a sports person. You can go out to Phoenix or Arizona, period, the Cubs, they play ball in Mesa. Their spring trainings in Mesa. So I mean, you got in Glendale, you got the Cardinals went out there, exceptional facility out there. Downtown Phoenix, you have facility basketball. They got baseball. I mean, you got Tempe is right in East Valley, so you have ASU. I mean, you have, and I mean, you go to ASU campus, man. They've redone the football field, man. The bleachers sit in the mountains, breathtaking.
I seen
what I'm
saying?
Because
Herm Edwards was a coach.
Man. So people say what they want, but I mean, I personally feel, and people can disagree, but I think God created this big, beautiful world, and I don't think a person should stay in one place their entire life.
Right.
It's just my opinion.
That's
some people, you could travel, and it's just my opinion. I ain't
that's just like when I'm keeping up with the Kardashians, and she's like, well, I just don't want to move to state, and I'm like, I see why I like this dude. Yeah, he like to move from state to state.
But I mean, it's a little different when you're in Cali, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, but when you're in a smaller community, and especially, you have people in small communities have big dreams, and sometimes you have to let your wings fly.
Yeah,
So
and for people that might say, okay, well, you have the U of I, why don't you buy season tickets there? It's just pro sports is different, y'all. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron is in his 18th year, so yeah, they load manage now, so it's definitely a possibility. But when you just see the stars that at least once a year,
it's a different atmosphere.
It's
man.
different. You know what I'm saying? You might have years where, you don't play anybody non-conference wise, so to get season tickets for like a U of I game, it's just not the same as a pro.
Yeah. It's different. Just
to having season tickets for pro. You know what I'm saying?
The entire atmosphere is different.
Yeah, and so, but that's one of my bucket lists. So
with that being said, man, I'm rooting. I'm rooting for, Phoenix, man. I would love to also see Atlanta. Man, I'm really feeling Trae Young, man. He is exceptional. Guys like him, Steph, they've changed the game. You know what I mean? They really have, because they show their skill set. And I'm not saying they're talented, because they're extremely talented, but they're not extremely athletic.
Right.
And I think, usually when we're looking at high-level all-stars throughout the history, when we've watched it, either you're super tall, you're super athletic, a combination of both, you jump extremely high, whatever the case. These guys have put the work in, and anytime you come and you shooting 50 feet out, you and can put the ball on the floor and make decisions, you pose a threat. So, man, I'm having fun watching Trae Young, man, and that's good for the city of Atlanta, man. I'm loving looking at the crowd and just the opportunities, because honestly, we don't get a lot of opportunities to see, as a people to see NBA games on a regular. And so when you go to Atlanta, and you watch the crowd, that there's exposure and experiences there. So I love just the atmosphere there as well. So
yeah. So yeah, man, it's just barbershop talk. The I Cut My Way Out podcast. I got one more thing I want to talk about, and then we'll sign off. It is kind of a roller coaster episode, just with how
we had a guest, and it had some issues, so they'll be back down and ready for it. But we just showing that we can pick up the mic and fill in, and sometimes certain things need to be talked about and discussed. So just a segue, and the last thing I want to ask you, and it does pertain to barbering. How can you describe, we always say perfect your craft, or, we just finished talking about sports and people I got better today, or, can you describe knowing, after being in here 3 weeks, can you describe knowing you have improved at your craft?
And how do you know you're improving still at your craft?
I know I'm improving still at my craft because I'm not satisfied, and that's my goal every day, is to get better. I want to be the best in anything that I do. I want to be the best father I can, the best husband I can, the best son I can, the best stepson I can, nephew, barber, anything, podcast, anything that I put my hands on, I want to be the best I can. So, not coming into the shop feeling comfortable, not being full of myself. There's always somebody out there better. And one of the beautiful things is that, sometimes you're reaching out, you're trying to get some of the people on the show, but they don't, some people don't understand that, man, they really provide inspiration, because I'm just watching my craft, and I'm watching a little here, a little there, and I move off inspiration. Also, I move off of people. So my job is to satisfy you every time that you come in here, and not take it for granted that you're paying me. You know what I mean? Money, money don't grow on trees. And so I have a responsibility. When I go eat a meal at a restaurant, I have an expectation, right? I don't want to spend my money and food is not right. So I have the expectation. So every time I come in here, I have an expectation for myself to be the best version of me in every aspect I can. And that's called maturity in every aspect, personally and professionally. And so I want to surround myself with people who think the same way. So I rock with a lot of barbers on Instagram, people who love their craft. Like, I love what I'm doing. It's a privilege. Everybody can't do what I do. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst. But you get in my chair, you're going to leave satisfied, because I made that promise to myself.
So when you post a cut,
mm-hmm.
or so, and then you maybe scroll down your timeline,
mm-hmm.
and maybe let's just say you look at a cut that you posted last year,
mm-hmm.
in the same type of taper or fade.
Mm-hmm.
Can you honestly look at a more recent cut and say, I'm better at that skill now than I was when I posted this cut 9 months? Because I look at your
mm-hmm.
timeline, and
mm-hmm.
when you do post, I'll be
mm-hmm.
like, you better.
Right.
And do you see that? Or
It's the aim. One of the things, when I cut by myself for a long period of time, when I ended up going to Rose and Taylor, when you're around people, it brings out the best in you. And that's one thing, even me and the wife used to talk, you're finding comfort in your four walls is hard. When I look to my right and I see my son, you know what I mean? He's good at what he does. He pushes me, and I hope I push him, because I'm not content. Content doesn't get you anywhere. So my aim is to be better. So there's certain aspects I look, and I'm like, okay, I've gotten better at that, and I'm looking and I'm watching tutorials and I'm watching different barbers. So the aim is to get better. You know what I'm saying? And part of adding services and things of that nature is about getting better in your overall craft. So every day I'm in here, I want to get better. And it's like hoop. Sometimes you feel it, and sometimes you just can't miss. You have those days as a barber too. But in terms of just the skill in and of itself, you know how to execute that each and every day that you come in and you just want to get better at.
So does it ever become quantity over quality, or is it's always quality? Huh?
It for me, for a small period of time, I was led to believe that it was quantity over quality. But ultimately, that's what allows you to be able to charge premium prices. You know what I mean? You have some people who just are naturally good, and quick. I try to be a perfectionist in different areas. So for me and myself personally, I don't want a 15, 20-minute haircut.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I treat others how I want to be treated. So for me, it's about the quality, because then the quantity in terms of quote unquote the bag, it'll come. And that's what I've learned. I want to make everybody that's in my seat feel special. And so, you know, I've taken on kind of the Deion Sanders mentality. You know, you're going to look good. You're going to feel good. You know, even went up, you know, shout out to Suge the Barber. I create confidence. I'm certain services, I'm going to hit you with the smell goods and, you know, just taking it a step up. So I'm just trying to improve all around the board. Quality, you know, customer service, technique, everything. So.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm done.
Yes, sir.
How about you?
Yes, sir, man. Good, man. I'm good, you know. Needed this time to just come and talk and, you know, be in the shop and, you know, feels good. And,
yeah,
you know,
it really does.
Hopefully they enjoy just our dialogue, barbershop talk. We're in the new digs, you know. Again, hopefully you can pan and just kind of see what we got going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up to do that.
Man, it's comfortable, man.
Yeah,
it's comfortable. You know, I feel like we did our thing. The family came in and put it down and did our thing. You know, Dennis came in here, DC came in here and, you know, put his paint hand down with us. You know, my father-in-law came in here, so it just, you know, Tiba sent, you know, some artwork from his dad, you know, rest in peace, you know, beats, and so, man, put it together, and so I'm extremely not satisfied but happy with the finished product and want to just keep growing and growing and growing. I won't be satisfied.
Nice.
So yeah. So as we always, you know, exit, I just want to thank all the barbers who inspire us. All the clipper companies, Andy's, Wall, Bablis, Oyster, JRL, Formas, just everybody doing it, man. We greatly appreciate it. Much love to everybody. Hope you enjoy our dialogue and have a great day.
Yep, and the I Cut My Way Out podcast. Again, we are everywhere where you can listen to podcasts, most notably YouTube. Thank you for the YouTube. We picked up a few more subscribers. Big D, Darren Taylor, I seen you. Thank you very much. I know you stopped me and said that you listen and seeing you subscribe. So
appreciate
shout out to, you know, Big D.
Yeah. Just keep subscribing, man. You know, I think we got something good, you know, unique, man. You know, rock with us.
Yeah, like I said last time, if we blowing your DMs up, just know that we done peeped you out, and we inspired by you and want to know your story and journey. And like we said earlier, it'll be here for thousands of years to come. So, most notably YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, just everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. If you listen to a podcast anywhere and you want us to be on there, hit us up and I'll do my best to get us on that platform. But for the most part, if you Google us, I Cut My Way Out podcast, we number one. We grinding, hustling, and just loving what we do.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I ain't gonna keep you too much longer. I can get long-winded, but again, R.I.P. Bailey, R.I.P. D-Lo. You know, you will not be forgotten. You know, that's it. That's
Absolutely.
all I got. Yeah. So we out, y'all. Peace.
Every night I'm tossing light. They don't appreciate all my hard work. So I went ahead and jumped, let the Lord work. Beer culture 2020, yeah, we taking over. From the clippers to the hoodies that be draping over. I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. Yeah, I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out.